Hello, my name is Lynette Stein, but please just call me Linny, aka the Gut Goddess. Introducing the king of the kitchen and first aid kit with antibacterial, antiviral and anti-fungal properties. But when we lacto-ferment them, it brings out the vitamins and makes it so delicious and goodness for your tummy loving. So first of all, we peel the garlic. So we take off all the little outside shells. Now that's easy if you're doing a big quantity. You might like to soak them first into water and leave them for about 20 minutes, and that way it'll be easy to take the shell off. But they must be shelled because we have to make it easy for the invisible organisms, the microbes, who do all the work for us, that produce that lacto-fermentation. So with lacto-ferments, what that basically is that we must make it oxygen-free. So us as a human, our role is very small. We just must make sure that we provide the right environment. The first part of that is that we must choose good quality. So the best quality garlic, preferably straight out of your garden, out of your soil. But if not, go buy some organic garlic from your local markets or from your local organic store. Now we must make sure that it is totally air-free, oxygen-free. So we press that right in there and make sure that we've got no air. That's the big job. So we choose a quality container. This one is your Fido, which is made in Italy, and they're designed that they'll let the carbon dioxide come out when it bubbles, because that's what it does. So now it's basically, there's really no big recipe. It's just an instruction. And in your download, I have all that, everything for you. But here we go, we just cover it in brine. Now there's no need to boil your brine, and it all depends on the garlic clove size. So these little fellas, they have the skin on there, those little fellas are only the small ones. So with those, we would just use a tablespoon of salt to 4 cups of water. Just stir that so it's all nice and dissolved, and that's your brine. If you've got the really big giant garlic, well then you would use a tablespoon, 1 tablespoon of salt to every cup of water. So there we have it. Now I've just put that little glass dunker, the little weight there, so it keeps it totally submerged, because that's the idea, to keep it oxygen free so that we don't let in any air, and it's all nice and tight. And then we seal it. There you have. We're ready to go. We're ready to put that away. Now what we'll do is we'll cover it. You can cover it with a nice cotton tea towel or a little tea cozy, so that that'll give the microbes a nice little environment to work for you, and it also produces a lot more vitamins for you when it's in a nice little dark environment. The ideal way is to actually, if you have a big harvest, is to ferment it into a crock, because that will produce loads of the vitamin C and loads of brine. Now, you see there, you'll just see that that's like a clear brine water. Now, this is what they look like when they're actually fermented. So that's cloudy, and that's where you know it's produced all that great probiotics, pro being for and biotics for life. And that is very life-giving, that brine. So there is your little fermented clove. It's very soft. You can just press it into a paste. So you can see how soft those are, and they're very delicious, and they don't repeat on you. Like some people will complain about garlic, leaving it on your breath and repeating and giving you all sorts of gurgler pump problems. But when it's lacto-fermented, you have that, because basically what those microbes do is they pre-digest your food for you. So it's pre-digested, and it's eaten all the sugar out of it, because that is what their food is. So moving on, honey-infused garlic is very tasty. It gives you the wow. Now this is not a lacto-fermentation. This is just an infusion. So it has your raw honey, your local raw honey, that covers your garlic clove. In there I've popped a little bit of bark and some wildflowers, not necessary, a little bit of bay leaf, and I have all these instructions for you in the download. So this, why you see this around all the time, and people say, oh, it's a honey ferment, but no, it's a honey infusion. It stays sweet. Anything that ferments, it must turn sour, as in our wonderful sauerkraut, which just means sour cabbage. And that's one of the foods that we lack in our diet, is sour, and we need to add it just in little small amounts. These are extremely tasty. They will give your kitchen some wow. And the honey itself, you can use it as, like, if you feel a cold coming on, you can actually use it before you go to bed. You can just put a little bit of hot water with it and down the hatch, and you're pretty well right. But the garlic cloves are beautiful added to like a cheese platter. And so that's that one. Now we can infuse garlic in miso. In this one I've got my red miso that I've made myself, which takes about 6 months to ferment. Not the garlic clove. Your garlic clove in there will take about a month. But you can buy a lovely organic miso and just immerse your garlic cloves in there. Just make sure that they're totally covered. And again, the paste is just as nice as the garlic. If you use like a black bean miso that's got your really dark miso, what's really lovely is when it's all fermented, you can add avocado, fresh avocado. And for the Aussies of us here, it's better than Vegemite. So with your brine, we've spoke about the brine. The other thing we must speak about is the temperature and the time frame. So it will depend on the temperature that you leave your garlic to how long that it takes. So it depends on whether you're in a cold climate or a warm climate. But the big ones will take at least 4 months. The little fellas, like these ones that we've done today, you'd be looking at 1 month. So you'd start tasting it at 4 weeks, and you'd see that they're soft. You'll see that the brine has changed from that clear and it's gone cloudy. So once you start getting cloudiness through there, you know you're starting to produce the good probiotics, and cloudiness is good. The big elephant garlic, which is called Russian garlic sometimes, they tell me that it's not really a garlic, it actually belongs to the leek family. But garlic is part of the onion family, so is leeks. And they tell me there's over 700 varieties, and it works with them all. You can ferment any of them, lacto ferment. This is my golden shallot, which we grew, and they've been done whole. Oh, absolutely superb. I've got some of my turmeric from out of my garden in there, and some of our very own peppercorns, and that's in a brine. Now you can see how that brine is all clouded. It's actually got a little bit like at the bottom there. That's just really, really good. These were actually done in a big crock when we fermented them, and when you take them out, you know, you can slice them and add them to salads. The brine itself, including into any of the garlics and in the onion family, it's just to be used like a garlic vinegar. So you can add it to your salads and your dressings and your sauces. It's just superb. So your brine is just as handy in the kitchen as what the fermented garlic or any of the fermented onions. So that's my little fella there, which is, as I said, oh, look at him. And so when you take those from your crock and you bottle it into, again, an oxygen-free container, and then you refrigerate them. So when if you're doing the garlic in the bottle, you can just leave it in the same bottle and take out your weight, and then just put it into the fridge and just make sure that they are always submerged. Now, how old do you think those little fellas there are, my golden shallots? How old would you think they are? Well, I was trying to work that out today when I was taking them out of a big container that I have in the fridge, and I realised that they're over 4 years old, and they're still crisp, they're still beautiful. So, you know, they keep for a very long time. They've still got crunch. Long as you provide the right environment. That's all our job as a human. The right environment is to choose one quality product, quality container, set the environment up that we have the right temperature, and the little mighty invisible organisms do all the work for us. I'd like you to join us in our gut-loving tribe. We have a very special offer at the moment. We have our 7-module plus an introduction with all downloads, and we'll go through each and every way to actually ferment, and you'll be you'll ferment like a pro when you're finished. First of all, we start with the sexy sauerkraut. Look at those bubbles. See, it's not quite ready yet, but he's still bubbling up there. It's really lovely. And I'll put him back in his little warm cover there. In module 2, module 1, we actually go to, after the sauerkraut, we go to tonics. And we do sauerkraut tonic, which is gut-loving medicine, and kvass, which just means sour beverage. This one is the big kvass that we make. There's your little garlic clove there. And with the little garlic clove, you can blitz that and add it to beverages. Bloody Mary comes to mind, but this one is just your kvass. That has your fermented ginger in there. Very tasty gin. So we've done module 1. In module 2, we go to Doctor a Day keeps the kimchi. Doctor a Day, my apologies. Kimchi a day keeps the doctor away. This is the traditional way of making kimchi. See how it's all gone soft? You know that that's all ready, so it's ready to be refrigerated. And this is a pretty quick one. It'll ferment up in, depending on how your sour taste buds are, but you can normally start tasting anywhere from 2 to 5 days. I like to leave mine out for about 14 days because I like very sour, but it's all, you get used to it. Inside there you've had little rice paste and it's been rolled up with your daikon and your carrots and chili and everything else. So that's your little kimchi there, which is in module 2. Module 3, we have the kitchen wow factor. We ferment garlic and ginger. That one's from my garden. Then we do a brined vegetable, and in this case here, we've done, oh, look at the bubbles bubbling up there. It's still fermenting. This is part of the course. That's your daikon radish. It's got some turmeric in there and some little garden herbs. Oh, look at those bubbles. Oh, aren't you beautiful? So that's part of the lacto fermentation family. And then we go on to the acetic acid family, where we do vinegars. We do lovely vinegars, and that one's your fire cider, which is like your master tonic. Then we do an infusion, a vinegar infusion. That one there is your blueberries, which is infused in an apple cider vinegar. Then we go on to, oh, I didn't show you the sexy salsa. Now that sexy salsa there, that is part of module 3 with the kitchen wow, and this is a very easy ferment. Now once that is fermented, you can actually add your fermented garlic. A good idea with garlic, because now you realise that small garlic takes up to a month to ferment, the larger garlic up to 4 months to ferment, but it's so worth it. So you wouldn't put garlic into when you're making like a tomato salsa. You would add your smashed already fermented garlic when you're serving your tomato salsa, because if you put garlic in there, it's not going to ferment, and your ferment's going to be all off balance. You can put it into kimchi. We do put garlic and ginger into kimchi, but we make it into a paste. So we butz it and we make it into a chili paste and spread it into the cabbage leaf. But anything like your fermented vegetables, especially things like your sauerkraut and all that, you want to keep it as simple as possible, and you add it in when it's already done. This is one of the easiest ferments and quickest ferments to do your tomato salsa, and everybody eats it. You can top it onto bruschetta. You can do lots of things with tomato salsa. Then we go into a beautiful water kefir, toast to your health. We do water kefir and kombucha, and show you how all the little things that you can do with that, and even dry that woo-woo SCOBY. So that's like a pig ear. Then we go to milk kefir, and the perfect marriage is your green cheese, your soft cheese, and your smashed garlic. That is just so superb. You can use nut cheese, and we actually show you how to make coconut cheese, and you can use any seed to make that. And as I said, your fermented smashed garlic, which is very easy to smash because it's very soft. You only just need to use a fork. In the actual module, I used a little mortar and pestle, but totally not called for. Here we have a little dehydrated kale, and in there is actually the fermented garlic. So I made it into a paste and put a little bit of fermented chili, just a little bit, and added that to it and dehydrated it very low. So that's another way that you can use your fermented garlic. In here we have these are from sourdough bread, the little leftovers that I make into a little cracker. And so what I've done with the fermented garlic in those, I've actually dried it. And when I dried it out on a very low temperature again and pulled it into a paste, but dried it and then made it into a powder. So just give it a little bit of it doesn't take much to give it like a little bit like this to make it into a powder, and I've added it into the little sourdough crackers. You can actually add it to your flour with all sorts of things and have that really beautiful garlic taste. Of course, when we cook it, we're going to destroy all those probiotics, but we're getting enough of it in all of our other foods that it's okay to cook it occasionally. So that's our little kimchi there. And in here we've got lape to, which is made in Burma. It's a fermented tea leaf salad, and history goes that they would have it at the end of the meal, and they would have it between warring kingdoms when they would sit there, and it was a peace offering. So I've made it with lemon myrtle leaves, and it's in my fermented vegetable book. It's a beautiful ferment as well. So do join us and come on board, join our gut-loving tribe. It's less than the price of what you would pay to take this sweetheart out for dinner. It's a whole 97 Australian dollars, and for that you will get downloads for the 7 modules plus the introduction. So there's more than 8 downloads, but it'll show you every step-by-step simple process to fermentation, the right way, that easy way, and the way that's proven to be gut-loving for you. And as well as that, we give you, as a bonus gift, we're giving you over 30 ebooks which will show you everything that can be fermented. And you can ferment everything. In there we've even got bacterial beauty, which shows you how to put probiotics onto your skin, because after all, our skin is our largest organ of our body, and we need to feed it gut-loving stuff as well. And we've got a Christmas celebration book, and we have how to ferment eggs and meat and fish and every vegetable you could imagine, and fruit. So please join us. We would love to have you on board. You will get all the support. The Gut got us here. We'll be live once a month where you can ask all your questions. We have a private Facebook group that you can join and ask any question and share all your successes. We look forward to meeting you soon.